I'll start easy. It struck me, and I don't know that you guys would agree with this, that the summer of the Great Awakening was quite the backlash to the Sanders campaign, right? Obviously, Sanders was over. There's no question about that. So I haven't been living under a rock, as some people might suggest. But rather the zeal that coalesced around Sanders in support of kind of social democratic politics obviously outlived his campaign. And it, again, struck me in real time that what the reason, one of the reasons that the mainstream media was so invested in pushing what was fundamentally a kind of race reductionist discourse with respect to the pandemic, which was something that I think Jen, you discussed earlier, but also the George Floyd murder and a host of other issues, was to displace that kind of social democratic sentiment that still resonated with a lot of voters, and to kind of discipline, if you will, those voters to insist that in continuing to embrace what the mainstream Dems would have called the class reductionist discourse. And this is, the way that the class reductionist framework operates, and continuing to embrace a social democratic kind of discourse or demands for redistributive economic policies, that those activists or voters who embraced, again, continue to embrace redistributive policies were in some way being disrespectful or living in a kind of denial about the crucial importance of racial injustices in America. And it was a fascinating thing to watch in real time because, again, in keeping with the great lead-in, proceeded from the standard view that racial issues and economic issues exist on entirely different planes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I don't know who's going to go, but thank you. I'm tired of this guy. Go ahead, cuz. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, like, what is going on in your mind where you consistently seeing Black people being murdered by the police, and you think that the outrage and the protests that come about from it are just an attempt to undermine your socialist politics? Like, it has nothing to do with the actual, like, people aren't actually like authentically upset about the race element of this whole thing, that they're only doing it to punish.
Can you go into some examples of some like classic?
Hey, Mud, keep going, cuz.
Nah, that's pretty much it. Like, you think this whole thing has just been some type of punishment towards Bernie Sanders supporters? Like, it's insanity. Like, I don't know why they why they think this is acceptable to say, like, in public.
Because I'm Black, y'all. I'm Black, y'all. I'm blackity black, y'all. Okay, Jay, go next, please. Sorry, Doc, go next, please.
Oh, I find it interesting that Homegirl said so-called.
Like, but we already know how they feel about us. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's the only thing where I'm like, and Homeboy is not the brightest, it seems. I don't know. I would like to see more of what they have cooking up.
Perfect. Go ahead, John D. Because this is the first time that Doc has seen this video, because I literally hit her up 3 minutes before. Go ahead, John. John actually got to see the video.
Yeah,
John
D. What intrigues me about these kind of YouTube personalities, basically, or these academics that go on podcasts, and and I think the last time I was on your show, I mentioned this as well. Like, one thing, like, I guess I could offer is just like the way I see like the logical fallacies of it, like just the way they use the logic, like the syllogisms and the one-liners and kind of the straw men. And I think Mud said it too, like insanity, like if you're on a show and you're like a one-on-one guest, or if you're just used to lecturing, which I think these Reeds have done, I think 3 generations of them. I don't know if any of them have had a debate. So that's the thing. I think a lot of these personalities, when I watch the video, it's just interesting how they use the logic. And I think just the Jacobin leftists are just really good at stringing a whole hour podcast to absolutely say nothing but kind of pure bullshit. But the way logical fallacies, kind of the whiteness of logic works, that faux logic, I guess it's content worthy. And it's just crazy how in that 3 minute, I just wrote down straw man, because he made 4 straw men. Just his whole argument is just a straw man. And that's like, So I'm just analyzing it from the logic side because I don't want to get in trouble and talk because I mean about the race thing, because it's just kind of weird. Like you said, there's the Chinese lady on the left, and
Don't
what
worry about
about
that.
Jen Pan on the left? Because I think she's a so-called race reckoning. I mean, those little things, those are these little things that
Yeah.
slip in. You know, that's an interesting one for me.
So
I don't know
who
if it's my place to
Jan
analyze
Pan
it.
is, but if Jan Pan is Chinese, you know the Chinese were funding the Proud Boys, and they stay fighting against fucking affirmative action
Affirmative
programs
action.
in California. And on top of that, they have the nerve, the AAPI, get an Economic Empowerment Act. They have gotten one under every single president since Clinton. And we'll come back to that later. So we can talk about so-called, and we can talk about model minorities and how everybody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps and they make it work. But when you start digging into the money, so who loves The Wire like I love The Wire? And if you watch the 4th season, which a lot of people hated, that season was the best season because that season taught you everything about how poor people, poor niggas on the street get busted and rich motherfuckers with the money have dinner parties. Follow the money. Follow the money. And we're going to start doing that at Reset Race. We're going to follow the money. And then you can't call us racist and xenophobes because all we're doing is reporting the news of the money. And we just want the same money that they're giving to people of color. And you know what? Poor whites want that same money that y'all giving to people of color too, because I want my money in a check and reparations. But we're going to get to the part where we start talking about these programs. I want the same programs that y'all want to give to immigrants and the same programs that y'all giving to AAPI in these fucking Economic Empowerment Acts. And I want it for Blacks and poor whites. How about that? Okay. John, I feel like we haven't gotten through that. Everybody, go ahead, John.
John D is me.
John C. So remember, we go guest first. So it's always gonna be the guest. So John C. John, you're John, and John D is John D.
Sure.
Because I'm not gonna call him White John.
That's not like he said, like real talk. Like that's our vanilla brother on the Cornell West vanilla
Don't call him vanilla. I think of Vanilla Ice. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Find something else.
Yeah, but nah, man. Yeah, but this is crazy. I just had one question though. Is Toure Reed? This is Adolph Reed's son, or grandson, or something like that.
Nah, this is son. I think this is seed, not even just the grandson. I think this is first generation, but whatever.
All right, so this is Adolph Reed's son. This makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, Jacobin, I think that they should just have like a playlist called like "Fuck Black People."
Yeah, even the owner of Jacobin is against reparations. So of course all they shit is anti-black. The fucking owner is anti-black. But sorry, go ahead, John. I'm gonna stop talking because people like what you're saying. They be telling me to shut the fuck up in my DM.
Nah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what they talk about. But at the end of the day, like it's like, you know, like they should have a whole section on Jacobin video playlist like called like "Fuck the Black People." Like, yeah, don't you like? I mean, Jacobin is like the left wing Fox News. Like, it's like a saga. This shit is crazy because they always come up. Like I say every week, it's about fuck race. What about class? Can't think about race. And when they talk about race, they speak about it in a way where it's like it's not really about Asians' identity. It's not really about Latino identity. It's not really about the Native American identity, because they could do a whole video on Jacobin. I'm pretty sure it's videos on Jacobin that got things tackling immigration issues and they side with the immigrants, things tackling the Asian issues. But when it comes to Black people, that shit is like, class is race. And they're going to show a picture of Oprah eating a donut. Like, look at Oprah. Oligarch. I'm like, Oprah don't control no oil. What the fuck is you talking about? So
and if you want to really get froggy, if we're gonna start eating billionaires, you can eat Oprah's bitch ass too. Fuck her.
If you want to do that, but at the end of the day, compared to other billionaires, like she don't have anything. She make, you know what I mean? Like she got the same money that Jay-Z have on paper, and then Jay-Z money on paper is not the money you. So it keep going.
Y'all can eat Jay-Z and Beyonce too.
Y'all can do whatever. They can do whatever they want. But I mean, it's just the concept of like, you know, they don't understand the wealth, they don't understand the shit. Toure Reed is Adolph Reed's son, and I'm pretty sure he won't like us because we really don't like your daddy. I don't know if you heard the videos. Like, we don't like your dad. He's horrible. Like, you damn near, like, he looking Samoan and shit. I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know. I ain't gonna get into that, but you talking some bullshit, and I think that you're doing that to make white people feel comfortable around you and keep climbing up the same ladder your daddy climbed up. That's all I got to say.
Cause them butter biscuits is good. They get the cheddar biscuits from fucking Red Lobster, you know, with the ones they be perfect with the hot butter. They got the perfect cheese.
They got a little garlic crumb on it. They got a little parsley on it.
Butter and cheese. Don't lose the cheddar biscuits.
They need to be vegan.
Biscuits.
They need to be vegan.
Please go, sir.
Well, it's good you can't sell out because you can't eat biscuits.
Exactly.
But you got anything before I go back to this stupid
No,
ass bitch?
Listening to Reset Race, you now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, back on the grill again. We grilling them, You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Penniage, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG, the wise one. Cousin Mother, intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country. To win, you need our energy. Go on, see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.